All right, I have a special guest with me today, my friend Brian. We do a lot of shooting together. We're both learning more and more about AR-15s, and today we're going to walk through some trigger work, custom trigger work for the AR-15, run some tests, and share with you what we find.
All right, so this is a Anderson Manufacturing AM-15 optics ready model. I've replaced a couple of things on it now, just simple stuff, Magpul grip and stock, as you can see, and handguard. Other than that, it's completely stock, and we're gonna see what these parts can do. Been doing some research and found some inexpensive modifications we can do for the trigger work. These are JP trigger springs. They're just replacing the springs on a regular mil-spec trigger, and they're supposed to be able to reduce the poundage down to about 3.5 to 4 pounds from the stock, which we're going to find out what the stock is as well. Check that, and then I also did some research and found that you could do some polishing on the trigger parts to help it out as well. So we're going to try a little bit of both, with the polish, without the polish, with the springs and without the springs, and see how we can affect the pull weight and smoothness. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is just make sure that the gun is safe. So I'm just visually inspecting it. Looks good. I've got a magazine in here holding in the vise. It's just an inexpensive magazine that I don't care about, so it's tightened down pretty good. So I'm just, after I pull the charging handle back here, I'm going to release the bolt, and then going to do a test. We've got a Wheeler Engineering trigger pull scale. This is just an analog scale. It's got a little spring in it, and as you're pulling the trigger, this yellow guide moves, and then when the trigger goes off, you release it, and the little guide stays where your weight is. So maybe not as accurate as some of the nice digital ones, but nice and expensive option. So now that it's ready to go, we're going to go ahead and do a few tests here, and see what kind of weight we got stock. Alright, so just over 7 pounds. We're going to do a few more of those. Trigger pull isn't always consistent, so we're going to make sure we got a good reading. So that time just under 6 pounds. Just under 6 again. Make sure we got our marker set back. Just over 5 that time. So pretty good.
Less.
So with use they do go down, not that quickly generally, but so we're roughly between 5 and 7 pounds is what we're getting. Depending on kind of positioning, probably different depending on where on the trigger we're setting this. But we're going to go ahead and replace the springs and then see where we're at. Alright, so we've replaced the springs. So right now the trigger is still unpolished, stock trigger, but we've replaced the stock mil-spec springs with the JP kit, and we're going to see how that affects the trigger pull. I'll mention too, while I'm thinking about it, one of the things that people say about these occasionally, some of the reviews I saw, that people end up getting light strikes with some kinds of ammo with the reduced pull weight on these. So that's one disadvantage. If you're going to use this as like a last line of defense, gun that you don't want to ever fail, probably not a good idea. But we're just using it, just have fun and plink around with. So. And this is an inexpensive rifle, so got this at Cabela's for $3.99, so I'm not too worried about if I screw it up. So go ahead and test it out. We've got it chambered, or we've got it bracked back and ready to go. And let's see what we got here. So it's at just under 4 pounds. Oof. So pretty big difference. Definitely feels a lot lighter too. So as advertised. 4 exactly that time. 4 again. And 4 again. So 4 pound from between 5.5 to 7 to 4 pounds. Now the question is, will it still fire?
All right, it's been a couple weeks since we did the trigger work on the Anderson AR-15, and Brian's taken it out to the range and given it a test, so he's going to tell you how it went.
Yeah, so overall I think it was really successful. I noticed the trigger felt a lot better. I was able to get a lot more precise trigger pulls. I did try 5 different types of ammo, from like typical Winchester, Federal, as well as like some more obscure stuff. We tried the IMI, which Brian had trouble with his.
Yep.
Shooting that ammo, and I shot about 20 rounds of each, just a box of each, those different kinds. Even shot some steel casing ammo and didn't have a single misfire. So I think there was a success. The JP enhanced reliability trigger springs really worked out well. I like the feel of the trigger better. I do think I'm going to go and take a second round of polishing a little bit, see if I can get a little bit of that initial trigger pulse grittiness smoother, but towards the end it's better, and then it's definitely much lighter. So overall, great success, and I recommend them.